What is up, fellow Benchwarmers? Welcome to our weekly episode of Fantasy Benchwarmers. And today we have a special guest. Of course, my name is Jeremy Tan, your co-host. And kasama pa rin natin si Komish Eric. Komish, it's morning. Oy, wala, naka-mute ka.
Oh, the commissioner's muted.
Yeah.
It's a good thing in the league if the commissioner is muted. No.
Excited for this show today. So morning
recording. So
yes.
Medyo busy si Komish but we'll go through it. Parang ano pa rin, tuloy pa rin tayo with the weekly thing. Today our special guest he's returning. We invited him back to talk about mid-season fantasy and one of the more controversial topics about trading na binibring up ng mga followers natin. Trading, especially towards the end of the season kasi the collusion is parang very rampant pala towards the end of the season. So actually we've got a lot of questions on how do we prevent this, how do you prevent that. So please welcome Mo Twister. Hey Mo.
Hey, thanks for having me. Honestly, I did not want to come back on your show because when you make these preseason predictions and then you're wrong, you want to hide. Like I told everybody to pick up Aaron Baines or draft Aaron Baines. Now he's not even rosterable, and I'm like, you asked me to back on the show. I'm like, oh, now I have to defend my Aaron Baines.
Well, actually, Mo, right now Aaron Baines has a double-double at halftime.
So this is the perfect time.
So this is the perfect time to come back. Actually,
well, at the same time, he has been okay these past couple of games. I think he's like a 12-8 guy. Even though I think Boucher was able to drop like 30 plus in prior to the All-Star break, but I'm kind of joking in a sense that. That's what you do in predictions. Look, before we get to the fantasy stuff, I did my NBA season predictions, not the fantasy predictions, right?
Yeah.
And who was my MVP? Anthony Davis. Nowhere even near that. Defensive player of the year was Ben Simmons. Made chance.
Yeah, that's a chance. Yeah.
Rookie of the year, I picked Wiseman. Nowhere near. And then and my backup to Wiseman was who's the guy in Washington? Denny
Avdija.
Yeah. He was my wild card. he's on the bench now. He's not even playing anymore. They don't even play him anymore. What were some of my other MVP?
So you weren't as high on LaMelo?
I wasn't as high on LaMelo, and we'll bring him up later during fantasy talk because he's definitely one worthwhile of a conversation to have. But I wasn't as high on LaMelo just because I just thought the competition that he was exposed to prior to the NBA wasn't high level competition. It wasn't G League competition. It wasn't Spanish competition. It wasn't collegiate competition. It was Lithuania, Australia. I was like, come on now, right?
It's the big boys.
Right.
Although Australia was a pro league, right? So maybe.
Yeah, but we have the PBA as a pro league. I mean, so I did not expect this, and I don't think a lot of people, even Michael Jordan himself, said that he's far exceeded the expectations. Who else did I have? Sixth man of the year. I did have Jordan Clarkson as my backup, so I'm close. But
who was your sixth man?
Who was my sixth man? Oh, how bad, how awful. Danilo Gallinari. Now, granted, he's been injured, and who would have known, right? But he was my sixth man of the choice, sixth man of the year, and then Jordan Clarkson was my number 2 pick for that. My finals is Lakers over the Nets. This is pre-James Harden. So
that looks good. That looks good.
Nets
my prediction possibly is still in play here. Is there any other? What are the other MVP, Rookie of the Year? What are some of the major? Most improved is Zion, which I think is still possible. I think Zion as most improved is still possible.
Yes.
Yeah. All right.
Who do you think is the most improved though? Right now.
Good question. Most improved right now,
Jeremy Grant.
I think I'm gonna stick with. Because the thing with Jeremy Grant, right, and a lot of people who get considered for this award is they're not really most improved. They just have a bigger opportunity. And when minutes equates to stats, and I don't think. I mean, Detroit's awful of a team, right?
Yeah.
That's why Christian Wood would not be my answer here either, because a big opportunity, but on a team full of garbage players doesn't make you the most NBA player, right? You're just stat padding. I honestly think Zion has taken a leap this year, especially. I mean, really, honestly, I think he has. And
Julius Randle. How about Julius Randle?
Julius Randle's a very strong choice too. You know what? That might be the best choice. It'll be either of those
But
two
he's in a
big lefties.
bad team as well. Well, not really a bad team, but
No,
New York is in the playoffs right
They're a
now.
playoff team, yeah, and
Yeah.
and we might bring that up a little bit later as well. Okay, but anyway, continue. Let's go. Sorry.
All right.
Sorry.
So, fantasy na tayo. How's your team so far?
I'm in that. So I'm in that bunch of that third place. We're all separated by 1 point, so I could easily be. I could be third today, and then
So it's
tomorrow.
really close.
You know? It's really, really close. Injuries obviously dictate, as they do so many every single year, the success of the team. Like the guy in first place doesn't have any injuries. He also has players that are just kind of playing out of their minds, including Nikola Jokic. So I lost Thomas Bryant. I had a very heavy guard lineup. So losing Thomas Bryant to the ACL tear has been huge for me because my field goal percentage is broken. But I'm there within striking distance, well within the money. Obviously, I want to win, but I'll take any cash I can get as well.
But third with 1 point difference, medyo that's quite close. Anything can happen.
It is close. I mean, I could totally tomorrow I could be not in the money, and then I'm in the money. So it's pretty close.
Yeah. Who are your top players right now?
Luka is number 1 pick, which I told you in the first time we guessed it. It's a mistake. It's a mistake to take him that early, but I want him so bad. Who else is on? And Fred VanVleet's have a really good fantasy year. Field goal percentage is a little rough on Fred. I have Bam Adebayo, who obviously is still a really good fantasy player. Ja Morant is starting to pick it up a little bit recently. He's been generally a disappointment this season. Who else do I got on my team? Kelly Oubre had a rough start.
Yes.
Has
So
now
So you own Kelly. You own Kelly Oubre. You drafted him.
I did draft Kelly Oubre, and I drafted him at value right now.
Okay.
I took him in the 5th round, which is kind of where he's sitting in terms of the return. So I haven't made a profit on Kelly Oubre, but it hasn't been the loss that it was. He
was able to recover some of that early season slumps.
Yeah, I think he's in the top 70 range now, top 60 range, which is about the 5th round in a league of our size. So
yeah. So what's your best move so far? Have you made a lot of trades? Because you mentioned that you love trades.
I think I traded Robert Covington for Ben Simmons early on, and Covington has picked it up a little bit recently, but I thought that was a really big trade for me. I'm a big believer in Robert Covington, especially going to Portland early on when they first made the deal, because the Trailblazers desperately needed defense, perimeter defense, and they still do. They're awful defensively. But I also saw him look clueless early on with his shot, and the defensive stats are harder to predict when you're a smaller guy. Like, it's easy to predict with Rudy Gobert, but it's not easy to predict even with a guy that's not that tall. So with Covington, I was like, I'm not sure. I then flipped him for Ben Simmons, which I thought was a good trade. I even attached Rudy Gobert for Bam Adebayo in that deal. So I kind of thought I won both ends of the trade. Yeah. That's probably my best move this year so far. I also traded Tim Hardaway Jr. I got Tim Hardaway Jr. for Delon Wright, which I thought was just okay. I mean, I thought I got a little bit of value there because I needed to beef up my 3-point shooting. Plus, I get to watch Luka and have another teammate of him. So for my own personal viewing, I thought it was an okay trade.
Pero we are playing. We have currently right now Roto League currently, and we kita na namin yung difference between the Roto League and the head-to-head. Tell me, Jeremy, how much do you like the head-to-head more? I mean, how much do you like Roto more? Please tell me you like it more.
No,
chill lang. Alam mo yan, if there are injuries, chill lang kayo. You don't really have to panic, or it won't really mess up your season. Kasi like in some of my leagues, I have Anthony Davis, I have Karl Anthony Towns. So these are my first picks. So parang patay na agad.
Death. It is rough.
So especially for this year because of the COVID situation. I think the Roto really just what you said, Mo. Like, it's really perfect for this season.
Yeah, it is.
In my
it is.
opinion.
And maybe you guys go back to head-to-head next year because that's what you're used to, and that's fine. But definitely this year should have been the Roto year. So if you had head-to-head this year, I can imagine you're very frustrated.
No, we'll promote more of the Roto League. Gagawa
Yes.
Parang experts league for
Yes.
next year
Roto.
for our Fantasy Benchwarmers. So
Let's do it.
we'll invite you there kasi we'll invite some of the best in
I'm
the
in. I'll take an invite for that. Absolutely.
Yun. So what's your worst move? Any regrets? Ako, I dropped Draymond Green right before pumutok siya.
Ooh.
That's one of my worst
Oh
moves.
yeah. Jeremy's still angry about that.
Oh my gosh.
Because
okay.
di ba nung nag-start when he started so bad. And
Yeah, but drop. Drop for who?
sobrang frustrated na ako nung
Ay,
time na yun.
You dropped him for who?
And then I couldn't remember already, pero at that time I was so frustrated na.
No, I think he dropped him for Patrick Williams ata eh.
Oh!
Diba?
Parang ganon.
Parang Patrick Williams eh.
No.
Okay lang sana if he continued the slump for a few games, pero hindi. The next game, wala na, putok na agad.
No, that was a time that James Wiseman got injured also. And he got
exacto.
shifted to the center position, and then he just, you know.
I think Draymond's having a better year than most people anticipated. So yeah, that's a tough drop, man.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah, rough. I guess my
How
answer
about you?
for worst pick again. You know, I'm the kind of guy that dwells on the smaller names, right? That's why when you asked me when I first came here, like who's your sleepers and stuff, I always pick these guys in the last round, stuff like that, because we all know the major players. So my worst move this season is going to be that level where I dropped Nerlens Noel. Now, I can't predict that I can't predict that Mitchell Robinson is going to get hurt, right? We didn't know that. But even prior to him getting hurt, you can still bank on some defensive value with Noel, whether it be 1.2 steals, 1.4 blocks, in that range. But now that Robinson is out, I am definitely feeling bad about it. Again, I'll go back to it. You should know that under Tom Thibodeau, he weighs heavily on the veterans. He probably, I wouldn't say he's the biggest fan of Robinson sometimes with his kind of boneheaded to trust. And the Knicks want to win. And if Tibbs loves the vets and the Knicks want to win, I should have held on to Noel. Noel has played 40 minutes a game these past 3 games or something like that. So
yeah, but when at the start, talagang droppable eh.
I don't know if it's droppable. Shoot, if you're dropping Draymond Green, he's definitely droppable for you.
That was just one mistake.
But
pero nung Noel,
I am hold on Noel. I am hold. If I needed the stat, like if I look at my day and I said, hey, I'm 2 blocks or 2 steals away from jumping up into the stands today, I'll fire him there. Or if the Knicks are going up against a team with a light front court, I'm putting him in. Or if, for example, I have Noel, they're going up against the Dallas Mavericks. I know Luka leads the league in drives. Put Noel because he's also one of the worst guys in turnovers. I might get some blocks. I might get some steals. You hold. You don't drop. And I made a mistake.
Yeah, but and then I guess dahil nga it's Roto, it's I guess easier to hold certain players.
Yes, it is.
Players like that. Kasi pag sa head-to-head yan, you'll probably drop Nerlens because he doesn't really contribute much.
Of course,
in your team.
In volume, in volume throughout the week, Nerlens probably not, but he is right now because of Robinson.
Yeah, right now. Hopefully sustainable rin kasi we were talking about it that 41 minutes for him, the stats he gives in 41 minutes is probably this almost same stats he gives in 25.
Yep, you're right.
30.
Right. I would like to see 31 minutes for him, and that would be great for anybody who has him. And I have a trade on the table for Noel to get him back for Victor Oladipo. So I'm I have Oladipo. I'm thinking about it.
Yun rin yung pinakagusto ko about Roto eh. The trades can look lopsided in stat wise, pero it's not really lopsided because it depends on what you need.
Absolutely.
Like
and we'll get into that when we talk about, you said you want to talk about trades and protocol and culture regarding trades. That's another very good point to bring up a little bit when we get to that.
Yeah. But Mo, like this year, do you bank on more games early on? Because you might there might be COVID postponements.
I do. So I'm always +2, +3, sometimes +4 in games played to whatever the current day
Okay.
is for that reason. For example, I was +4 last week or a little over a week ago prior to the All-Star break at shooting guard, and I have Fred VanVleet there. Now, VanVleet has missed 2 games, including today would be 3. So I'm now +1 on shooting guard. So it's nice to have a little bit of
Buffer.
kind of buffer there. Not that I would have benched Fred VanVleet anyway, ever, right?
Yeah.
But I am plus on some of those things because I want to take advantage of the current situation. Say there is a COVID breakout on a team. Some of the players are in health and protocol. I'm going to pick up a Jakob Pertl, for example, even though he's not a playable guy on a normal, healthy team. He is right now. I have him, and I'm very, very happy with him. But that's why I use those positions to plus the center position, because next thing you know, the Spurs make a move, Pirtle goes back to 12 minutes a game, and wala na siyang value. But I was able to bank on that value when he was valuable, I guess is the way to say it.
Yeah. Who for you is the most disappointing this year? Other than siguro Anthony Davis is one.
I think Davis is the number one answer, absolutely, because you're talking about a consensus number one guy. I mean, him obviously and Harden, but Harden, we didn't know the situation with him. So I think clear cut Davis was the number one pick. And what is he now? On average, the 20-something best player.
You think he's going to get back to, at least close to the numbers that he was giving?
I think you're going to see the MVP number one pick level of Anthony Davis come the playoffs when he resorts to playing more center position. Throughout the regular season, I don't think he's a fan of the center position, so he likes to do the power forward, and he's not as effective. When the playoffs come around and he is their main 5, then you're going to see the stats. And we saw that last year, I think, in the bubble. He was incredible. I mean, defensively, he was stout. Offensively, he was amazing. I think he should have been the MVP instead of LeBron, but I understand it's LeBron's team. But he's got to be the number one. And when you ask me who's the most disappointing players, this is where I go after the big names. Okay? With the surprises, we talk about the little names. The bit disappointing is the big names, because that's where the big investments come from. So Anthony Davis, Trae Young, DeAndre Ayton, these are guys you're paying a ton of money or a ton of draft capital for, who have not returned. Even though Trae Young's borderline all-star, he's not the 7th best fantasy player or the 8th best fantasy player.
Even Jason Tatum, I think, is underperforming a lot.
Yeah. I mean, they're all-stars in real life, as Tatum was. In fact, I think he started this year, right?
Yeah.
Trae was on the bubble, but still, they're not giving the first-round return. And even Luka, to a certain extent. But I knew that coming in. Like, I knew that I'm not going to get top 10 value from Luka, not even top 15 value, just because he's not that type of fantasy player.
LaMarcus is another player, I guess.
Oh, LaMarcus is a massive, massive, massive answer.
I mean, for Luka Mo, do you think this is the best he can be? Like, this is the best version already? I think some people have him top 20.
Fantasy or real life?
Fantasy.
Fantasy, he can be better. The free throw is a concern, right? He's now down to 75%.
75%.
Well below where he was, say, a month ago in terms of what his monthly average is. So he can get better there. He's got the skill set to be better there. I like the 1 steal a game we're getting from Luka this season, but the turnovers are really, really high. The field goal percentage is nice, man. 47.7, I think, or 48. 48.
Yeah,
Luka,
48.
He's struggled with the 3-point shot, so that can get better as well. So I don't think Luka's ever going to be a top 5 player, but I think he could be a top 10 player. And it's not this year, because he's really got to beef up. And he goes to the line so often. If he can get to 83%, 82% from the line, boy, his value.
That's a big jump. That's a big jump.
But he's capable. That's the thing. He's capable. He shoots. He's not a bad shooter. I mean, he's not a great 3-point shooter. We all know that. But there's no excuse for him to be 75% from the free throw line. He should be better than that.
Maybe I asked that because there's two players that are really questionable roto-wise, Giannis and Luka.
Yeah.
You see Luka's possibly going higher. How about Giannis? Is he a draftable player for you in roto?
He is.
Can you win with Giannis?
Yes, you absolutely can. Now, you can take the punt free throw mentality, which is hard to win in roto, but it can be done. And that's when you start putting Giannis coupled with Ben Simmons, those types of players that are high volume and they don't shoot well because they're so dominant in other categories. I would pick. The only reason why I pick Luka before Giannis is because I'm a Luka fan. But the smart money is picking Giannis probably higher than Luka.
In Roto?
Yeah, you can.
Okay.
Hindi, kasi Roto-wise, I mean, counting stats-wise, Giannis is talagang ang dami niyang nabibigay.
Every other category, right, is strong. I mean, fine, 3-pointers made is probably, but he is the 19th best player right now, and Luka's, I don't know, 22. So they're close.
Yeah,
they're really
I'm just debating whether I can win with my free throws being 1. Like, is that possible, or that's what I'm thinking?
Mathematically you can. You can mathematically.
Okay.
But it's hard. Yeah. If you have 2 categories that are 1, medyo you're starting to get into the impossible range. Right?
How about some of the surprising players for you?
LaMelo. I mean, LaMelo, right? 45, 80, 16, 6 and 6 with 1.6 steals. Incredible. LaMelo's been.
You think LaMelo or Haliburton is the better fantasy player at this point?
LaMelo's better fantasy player because again, I expected prior to the season starting is LaMelo's going to shoot below sub 40, 37, 38.
Yes.
In that Devontae Graham territory.
Parang Lonzo, no? Parang everyone thought it was like going to be Lonzo.
Right. Even the free throw, I thought the free throw was going to be hovering around 71, 70, 69, something like that. It's 80. Okay. 16, 6 and 6. Awesome. And it could be better with a better role now. 1.6 steals. 1.6 steals is awesome for fantasy.
Yes.
And the turnovers are not killing you. LaMelo is absolutely one of the top surprises.
So Mo, where will you pick him next year?
Ahead of Kelly Oubre.
Fourth round, third round.
Yeah, fifth round. It just depends on how thin the season looks at the point guard position. It's really hard to dictate because you don't know what you're going to pick prior to that.
Yeah.
But maybe a 5th round player, 6th round player would be okay
Pero
for me.
Point guard position is probably one of the medyo maraming players to pick
Right.
in that
And
position, right?
Yeah, and that's an issue, right? So he's one. Another answer, you said it earlier, Jeremy Grant. I think Jeremy Grant has been incredible this season, fantasy-wise, and kind of surprising. Julius Randle, you said that earlier also. Even Jaylen Brown, to a certain extent, I think has taken his game to the next level, and it has become very fantasy-friendly.
So Jaylen Brown has slowed down a bit over the past few weeks. Pero ito, another player na I feel is really surprising for many, Mason Plumlee.
Yes, early on, I was really impressed by Plumlee. How is he doing now recently? I'm not really following.
Still doing well.
Good.
No one's really expecting na he'll do well until this point. Kasi nga, parang naging siya Jokic light.
No, that's funny because some people are asking us if Detroit will make Plumlee the next Jokic, and we were saying that maybe not to that level. But
no, Jokic was always talented, right? Plumlee is just probably having a good year. Maybe closer to Yusuf Nurkic than a Nikola.
Yeah.
Where we saw Nurkic kind of just, mid-level NBA player to, well, if he didn't get hurt, damn third round player this season. Though he has been a bit of a bust. But
yeah, Nurkic, no? I was just about to say na parang another disappointing player, Nurkic.
Absolutely, yeah. But a lot of the stuff is injury-related, though, so it's kind of hard. Hard to say.
Hindi rin eh. I mean, is it really injury related? He started off really, really bad.
Yeah, but
and I'm not even sure if he'll get better after coming back.
I think it's premature to think that he was a bust before he got injured. And I think we saw slow starts from let me give him who's Devin Booker had a very, very slow start fantasy wise this season, right? In fact, his overall ranking isn't that impressive, but boy, he's been strong. Who else has kind of had a slow start that I think is going to be fine?
Draymond?
Pinaalala mo na naman eh. Huwag mo na paalala.
Oh, man. Here's another surprise. Sorry, Terry Rozier. Terry Rozier.
Yeah, Terry Rozier.
Oh! remember when we were talking about that player who's going to be passed around?
Yeah.
Eric mentioned that Terry Rozier is probably one of those players. But it looks like he won't be passed around.
Jared Allen's had again circumstance, right? He's an opportunity has presented itself, and Jared Allen has really taken advantage of it. So good for him.
Yeah. Sobrang solid din Jared Allen.
Dude, Kyle Anderson, another one, right? Diba?
Pero Kyle Anderson, I think right now has been wala na medyo. Memphis is too deep for him to be able to produce.
How about Chris Boucher? The most talked about player in fantasy. What do you think about Boucher?
He's just been monster, dude. Monster. Because he's at what?
Well, he was dropped in some leagues, you know.
Yeah, by idiots. Come on.
Buti na lang.
There's nothing wrong really with this game. Fine, he's not going to get but 2 blocks, 2 threes. I mean, I know he's not at that level, 2 blocks, 2 threes, but he's close. 1-7-1-9. Oh, come on, man. 1-7-1-9, dude.
Who's more of an idiot? That person who dropped Boucher or that person who dropped Draymond?
It depends on it depends what you need, but it's close. I think, probably Boucher. Just maybe Boucher.
Maybe people are so caught up with the bench role, so to speak. Like for me, that's what I noticed with people. They give too much importance in the starting role.
Yeah.
Do you do that, or does that matter to you if someone is starting or maybe they come off the bench?
What matters to me is the minutes played, average, right? Average minutes played. Yeah. And I think that's to me, or total minutes played. That's the most important thing, because obviously it doesn't matter if you're starting or if you're on the bench. It's minutes equal stats. So Boucher has been able to do some amazing things at 23 minutes a game.
Yeah.
They are able to bump that up. My goodness. I mean, we're talking about a maybe top 15 player. So
I guess that's another major difference between Roto and head-to-head. Because in Roto, you could live with that some level of inconsistency from that player as long as he gives you good numbers on certain games, right? Pero sa head-to-head, kasi a lot of the managers that are complaining about Boucher is really mostly on head-to-head.
Right.
In head-to-head, if he gives you some goose eggs in some games, parang you can't handle that, or you can't live with that. Kasi parang sayang eh.
Yeah. Because you're competing against somebody to win that week.
Yeah.
No, we're not competing. We're not competing that week. We're competing for the entire season. So you can have a bad week. Okay lang, no problem. You can have a bad month. Fine, sure. Okay. But you got to, just if you can get hot. And that's the thing. In head-to-head, if you get really hot, if your team gets hot, well, what does that happen? Well, you just have to beat the guy. Whether you beat him by a lot or beat him by a little, doesn't matter. You just have to beat him. In Roto, if your team can get hot, you can really do some damage. Long-term damage, and that's what I really love.
And that's where
I remember one more player, Norman Powell. My God, Norman Powell.
Yeah, I mean,
yes, this may anting-anting nga raw si Norman.
May anting-anting si Norman Powell.
Hindi na mabalik sa bench eh.
Yeah, I know, right? He took that job, and it kind of ruined OG's value. And OG was great, right, to start the first couple of weeks, but Powell's been on fire.
Who do you expect to break out second half? Some players na you feel that will.
I think Ja Morant is probably going to be one of those guys. I don't think he's going to be an incredible fantasy player anyway, just because of his game. But he's not as bad as what we've seen through this season. I know there was an injury scare there with his ankle that put him out a little bit, but he's been warming up, right? These past couple of games, we're seeing double doubles. We're seeing points scored in the 30-point range. Oddly enough, he's missed some free throws recently, but outside of that, I think we can expect some better things from Ja Morant this second half. I think here's my Aaron Baines of the day. No.
Okay.
And I'm sure one of you guys have him because you should. Nick Claxton of the Nets. I've been holding on now for a couple of weeks. I think he's been on my team for a month. And I liked him. From last season. I think if the Nets make some moves, like I don't know if the Blake Griffin move is going to hurt his value, and if they end up making another move for a front court stopper type of defensive guy, then absolutely he's droppable. I'm a little worried about the Blake Griffin, but I think Claxton has been doing so well with the limited minutes. He is a very Boucher excitement for me. If he can just kind of get unleashed a little bit, if I can get him at 23 minutes, the way Chris Boucher is, I'm all over Claxton. So he's on my bench.
So Claxton is one.
He's on your bench, but you're not playing him yet. So
I'm not playing,
in
I have not played him once. He is on my bench. Yeah, he's on my bench.
For late season, for late season surge.
Just to see what the Nets do. Because if they come trade deadline, bring in some big guys, Andre Drummond or whatever, just any kind of big guy, then Claxton's irrelevant. But right now, I think there's a chance.
You like Claxton more than, let's say, Justin Patton, like Houston,
I think Patton's better. I think Patton is definitely rosterable. I think Claxton is kind of fringe rosterable player. I think Patton's a more rosterable player, a more surer thing.
Or Vanderbilt. Do you think Vanderbilt?
I love Vanderbilt. Oof, the problem with Vanderbilt is, so he'll get 25, 27 minutes and then get 3, 4, 8 minutes the next day.
Yes.
So the inconsistency.
Para siyang Chris Boucher in the starting lineup.
Yeah. But the problem again with Vanderbilt, he's not a shooter, right? Like say again with Boucher or with some of these other guys, they can hit free throws. Vanderbilt is treacherous.
Bad, yes.
Yeah. So you're talking rebounds with him.
The defensive stats.
Yes, defensive stats kind of sprinkled in there, but really your big there is the rebounds with him. Jason Tate, I think is going to be something you want to look at second half because of the opportunity. Again, the Rockets probably the worst team in the NBA, if not, right? They're pretty close to the worst team in the NBA.
Or Minnesota.
Are they right there? Yeah, well, they're shit. So,
but for these kinds of players, Mo, how many do you usually roster? Like, how many do you stash? Like those States, the Claxtons,
maybe 3.
You give 3 roster spots for these players.
Because again, like I said, I am plus on my position, so I need to right. I need to bench them. So I carry them for just in case, and that's why I feel bad about Nerlens Noel, because I am the guy who carries people just in case. And unfortunately, I dropped the wrong dude.
What do you think about We talked about LaMarcus a bit, pero may mga nagtanong right now. LaMarcus, what do you think about rest of the season for LaMarcus? Is he going to get back close to that level, or is it just a bad situation for him?
Is this a good thing? Like leaving San Antonio, good for his fantasy value?
Yeah, fantasy value is what we're talking about, right? Real life value.
Yeah.
Fantasy value, I don't know. It just lands. Where does he land? If he lands with a contender, it's bad because stats, right? He's going to be not a priority. If he lands with a really bad team, then this could be the jackpot, right? This could be if he lands on a team where Popovich is like sometimes with Popovich, but he doesn't play you more than 30 minutes. Though maybe DeJounte Murray will get somewhere. Sometimes he'll do a 35-minute or DeRozan would, but if he can get to a 30-minute role, then he's so fantasy relevant. But with San Antonio, it doesn't look like he was ever going to even sniff more than 25 minutes, and that's going to hurt his value. So it really depends on where he lands up.
So yun, I think marami rin worried about LaMarcus. Kung ida-drop na ba si LaMarcus, or in one league he was dropped already, but again he's head to head
because he's fantasy worthy. I mean he's not the juggernaut that he used to be, maybe for the past 10 seasons or whatever.
But I watched him early in the season. Parang medyo talaga he looks so old already.
He looks like it's like the way you look at Blake Griffin. Right?
Blake Griffin.
But at least he shoots better. So maybe
sobrang bagal, tapos parang taba na parang hindi out of shape na talaga eh.
Right. Rough.
Kaya parang hindi ko alam kung he's gonna get back to that level of parang 5th round value or 4th round value.
But still rosterable, definitely rosterable in the right situation. Just not one you're gonna lean on to win a season for you.
If you're in Roto, I think you could hold on to him. Like
absolutely, I would hold.
Said na parang you could stash some of those players for later on. Pero in head to head, we would understand if you drop him already for some hotter free agent, right? Sige, let's talk about yung main topic natin. Trading. Okay. What's your trade settings? League commission votes?
It's commissioner. It's both. Okay, so it's commissioner, meaning I am the commissioner, and I've been commissioner for 20 years now, right? I don't decide on my opinion. I decide on the majority of the league's votes. The thing that makes us different, though, from say league votes is that there are no anonymous votes. You cannot vote against something anonymously.
Yeah.
Diba?
Okay.
You have to say who you are. You have to give sound basketball logic to back up why you think it's a veto. And that really helps us because Majority is a lot. So if you have a 14-team league, majority is 7 vetoes. 7 in 14. Because you remove the 2 people involved, leaves down to 12.
Yes.
6 is still halfway. So you got to get 7 vetoes.
Yes.
Not only do you need 7 vetoes, you need 7 non-anonymous vetoes and 7 vetoes with basketball logic.
Yeah.
It's so hard to veto a trade in our league.
Who counters, let's say, someone wants to veto and give is there a debate among managers?
Yeah. Okay, tell me, why are you vetoing it? Give me sound basketball logic. It's not, and sound basketball logic is not, hindi, lamang yung isa eh. That's not logic.
Yeah.
That's in every transaction, may malalamang, di ba? Somebody's going to win. Even if you trade the damn Morris twins, somebody is going to win
Yes.
trade, right? We're not here. Trading is not to make it fair, because that's impossible. Give me a reason why you think it's collusion. That's the only thing. Collusion.
That's one of the hardest part to really determine.
So it means that's the only reason for you to veto a trade.
Because
collusion.
You're cheating. That's it. Because I'm an adult. I paid my money. You paid your money. Why do you have jurisdiction over my team if I paid my money? The only reason why you should have any opinion, well, no opinion you can have, but jurisdiction is what we're talking about. The only reason why you should have jurisdiction on my team is if I am cheating the league. And that's it. Because I paid my money. My money is that's a big deal.
In other words, like your league has commish rules, but you base it on the league's vote privately. Right. Like you have a Viber group or something.
We have a Viber group, and you have to post there why you feel it's veto worthy.
So everyone has to. What if I say I don't want to? I just don't want to.
Oh, no, I'm only counting vetoes. If you're gonna veto, you better give me your opinion. Okay, and if
there's a time frame.
Yeah, so we do. So this is how it works. It's 3 days of debate. It's 24 hours if there's no debate. Do you get it? So if a trade is accepted, it goes through in 24 hours. If one person debates it, it stays for 3 days.
Okay.
System. Because we want you to have a player. We want you to have your player right away. If you trade it for a guy, there's no reason to wait 3 freaking days for you to get him.
Yeah.
So if you trade, and you, especially with a shorter season, you want your guy 24 hours if there's no debate.
So the only criteria for you guys would be if there is collusion involved or there's cheating involved.
Yeah, collusion, cheating, or just, I don't know. There have been moments where it didn't feel like collusion, but it was vetoed just because, say it's a new guy who doesn't know anything about fantasy and traded something so ridiculously stupid. Then we're like, okay, fine, maybe we'll step in. But I never veto. I rarely.
Has there been a time wherein there was proven collusion within the league? Because that's the hard for me. Parang as the commissioner, that's hard to prove.
It's a really good question. You can't prove it, but we ask for screenshots. So when you do a trade that we feel is egregious, we ask you to screenshot the negotiation. And we do this every year, Pat, every year.
Oh, that's interesting. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah. I want to see the timeline. I want to see the dialogue, and we'll assess it as a group. Okay, that looks. There's no way you can prove, right?
Yeah.
But we get pretty close to being confident that nothing was going down shady. And the screenshot thing, we've done that 100 times.
Okay yung screenshot thing kasi if it's really hard to prove or to say that people are colluding. Kasi usually ang criteria, if it's the bottom team who's tanking already.
Okay, so we have an answer to that. Sorry.
Hindi. Diba, parang,
I feel like a salesman, right?
That's the usual concern. It's if you're at the bottom and then you're towards the end of the season.
If you come in last place in our league, you're fined 3,000 pesos. If you come in last place, you're fined.
So that eliminates the part. So even if you're in the last place, you still have to fight for your.
You have to fight for your life because that's 3K, man.
Kaya nga.
Right?
So that's additional 3,000. That's not
an additional to your buy-in. Yeah.
That's additional.
Being into last place. So it's our way to help manage collusion. Now, it's not perfect. It's not a perfect system, but we'd like our system. The screenshots, the majority votes, the sound basketball knowledge.
Maganda yung screenshots actually.
Yeah, the no anonymous vetoes and the fine, the 3,000 peso fine.
But as commissioner, how do you step in when it's like getting too personal? Because that happened to us, even in our league. No, yeah, our league is a league of friends, and it reached that point. Like, let's meet somewhere. How do you deal with that? That's hard.
So I have some friends in the league. I would consider some of the guys in my league friends. Some of them I would consider friends because ang tagal na natin, right? But have I ever met them? No, I haven't met them. I haven't met you guys. But I would consider you and I, at the very least, some kind of friends, right?
Yeah.
So I understand the challenge. I don't know how to answer that. It's tough. It's
Have it reached that point in your league?
Oh, absolutely. And fuckers are gone. Like, if we feel like, okay, so we can't prove collusion. Say your screenshots check out. Okay. You got the needed amount of vetoes, or you didn't get the vetoes, whatever dynamic. If we feel like you have a bit of a reputation of doing very bad trades that affect the league, we just kick you out because we have a waiting list. We had a guy say he made a trade because he accidentally pressed trade. Okay. Okay, fine. Yeah, fine. We'll take that. Okay, fine. We'll take that. We'll rescind the trade because you said accident lang. But give me the screenshots. So you have to tell me, you have to show me that you said no to the trade. There's a protocol. That same guy did it twice. He's gone. He's gone out of the league. So again, sorry, I medyo baka mataba yung thumb mo and you press thing. One time you get forgiven.
Opposite sides yung
accept. Yeah. Yeah, right, exactly. But because you're a friend, we'll give you the benefit of the doubt. You're a friend, fine. You do it 2 times though, you're out of the league, man. And that's because we're talking about a league where the prize is 50,000 pesos, upwards of 50,000 pesos. So more than, diba, even 60,000, 70,000. So
yun yung pinaka-annoying for me kasi not every league naman I'm the commissioner, pero there are leagues na start pa lang ng season na-drop si na body heal accidentally, like 3 players, major player. Parang for me, paano ma-drop yung 3 I would understand kung isa lang.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Pero kung 3 players that were dropped of value, parang impossible.
But see, Jeremy, that's why you do, and sorry, I know medyo douchey, no, medyo kupal, but that's why you do an expert league, because that shit doesn't happen. Rookies do mistakes like that. And I can only tolerate playing in leagues with that not very often. No, I mean, every now and then we'll bring a new guy in because the guy wants to be there and he wants to see what it's like. He wants to see what a truly competitive, super cutthroat league feels like. Okay, we'll let you in, but don't be stupid. Huh? And then the moment you are,
so your league has a wait list right now.
Yeah. I mean, not a formal one, but definitely.
So I have a question. Like if there's a brother of someone that wants to come in, does that factor into your choosing the new team?
Yeah.
Do you allow brothers?
We've never had one, but it'll affect it a little bit. What we would do is just co-manage a team together. Because if somebody wants to come in, we have to kick somebody out, and that's something you don't want to do. Like we're not. Yeah. This is not ruthless.
Unless someone volunteers to,
Exactly. Like, it's too expensive for me this year. Whatever. Fine. Okay. But that rarely ever happens. So we don't have openings often. And if that were the situation that you're giving me, Eric, I would probably say, hey, why don't you guys co-manage together since you're brothers, and split it. And that's happened. That's happened where 2 really, really good friends na parang bros talaga, they'll just co-manage instead of having 2 separate teams.
Yung trades nyo, every trade talaga has this chat conversation, or kasi diba sometimes trades happen, I'll just offer a trade to someone without really talking to him first.
That doesn't happen. That doesn't happen in our league very often. But remember, you don't need to send me. This is not the NBA where you have to send me the league office. I don't require screenshots for every trade.
Yeah.
It's just the ones that are medyo
questionable.
And usually, when you're doing a trade of that caliber, there's a lot of screenshots to go around. And of course, you can fake the screenshots too if you're truly colluding, right? But
Grabe naman yung effort.
yeah, Abe, grabe yung effort. Abe would be. Come on, remember, there's a penalty. If you're gonna tank, there's a penalty, and it's not a good one. So
Yeah.
Okay, I'll give a situation. Do you
Yes,
veto
go.
this trade? Do you veto this trade? Let's say Andre Drummond. He gets traded. The news comes out. He gets traded to a team. Let's just say Detroit. Let's just say Detroit, and then Mason Plumlee will suddenly not get the minutes, won't start, and then you get a trade like Drummond for Plumlee, something like that, and then the manager will say, but their ranks are close. So how do you evaluate that? Will you veto that trade?
No, it's what they want. It's
But
what they want.
but it came right after the trade. Like Drummond is going there, he's gonna start and everything, and Plumlee's gonna take Plumlee's position.
Okay, so what I would do is I would go, are you aware that this is what happened? Like
Yeah.
we had a guy who once say he would boarded a flight, did a trade, and then wasn't able to see anymore, or some bullshit on the flight for like 15 hours or something. Fuck it, that guy's out as well. But I would go to it's like an injury. I treat it like an injury. If you, for example, say we're watching, I'll say Andre Drummond, Plumlee, and Drummond, I don't know, separates his foot the way Hayward did, and I send the guy the offer and he accepts it because he didn't see the game.
Yeah.
That's when we step in and go, okay, wait, guys, major foul. Let's rescind that. I could see us doing that. It's never happened before, but I would do that, and that's maybe the same. No, I don't know. Would I exercise that amount of leeway for somebody who didn't know a trade?
What if somebody knows the trade? Like they said,
Then,
yeah.
okay, if they know the trade, they are adults, they paid their money, they are independent managers of their teams, they are allowed to trade that if they want to. That's my take.
Yun nga talaga kasi in reality, the only perspective really that matters a lot is the two managers, assuming they're not colluding.
100%.
So whatever
why do you have jurisdiction over my team, Eric? Why?
Yeah.
Why? Like, why is your opinion? Why should it affect my team? I can do what I want. In the NBA, there are amazing general managers and there's really, really bad ones. But you're not allowed to. Now we've seen it before. Chris Paul trade, whatever, blah blah blah. That the fucking league gets involved, but that's so rare. And I don't think it should happen in fantasy as well. You should not have any interest in my team at all.
Okay.
Care about your team. Don't care about my team.
Yeah.
And if I consistently do bad trades, guess what? Don't invite me next year. But that's how you police it. You don't police the trade. You police the person in future seasons.
But does ranking play a big role? Kasi medyo
perspective.
skewed yung ranking.
It's all perspective. Because obviously, like let's talk about some of the guys we said earlier. Drama ran 173, I believe, give or take.
Yes, 170. Yeah.
Okay, so if you trade me John Moran for, let's see, who's like super. Okay, Harrison Barnes, 69, something like that. That's a really bad trade, man. But
True.
But the rankings are not going to dictate whether that's going to be vetoed or not. It's, hey, what did the team need at the time? What if the guy needed assist and the guy who is letting go of John Morant has an abundance of assist and he needs, what's Harrison Barnes good at? Free throw percentage or field goal percentage. That's a legit trade.
But
they wanted.
Let's say I'm the manager who's not involved in the trade. I could say, hindi sila same ng rankings.
No, it doesn't matter. No, because that's why it's a perspective thing. The guy,
it's not an acceptable veto.
That's not an acceptable veto because my screenshots will say this: Jeremy, I need assist. What do you got? Oh, ako 12 ako sa assist, meaning number 1 of assist in a standard 12-team league. And by the way, I'm number 1 assist because I also have Nikola Jokic. I also have fucking James Harden. I have these guys. In fact, Morant's value to me is minus in that category.
Yes.
He's actually hurting my team because he's not contributing anywhere else. I will trade him for Harrison Barnes, no problem, because I need that field goal percentage. That's a legitimate trade.
Yeah.
Easy.
Yeah. And
it should not be vetoed by anybody because that's what I need for my team to win.
And again, that's another, not that we're selling Roto here, pero another difference between Roto and head-to-head. Sa head-to-head, mas rampant yung mga ganun. Parang hindi sila same ng rankings eh.
Right.
Pero sa sa Roto, parang basta kailangan ko nito eh.
I need
Okay
that
na.
category. Yeah, I need
Yeah.
that category, and I'm willing to pay for it. And yeah, that's just kind of. But listen, all of these examples are extreme. It does not happen in real life that often, and I don't want to sell it as a scare tactic to not play Roto. I'm not saying that you guys are doing that. You get what I mean, but I don't want you to be scared off because of the possibilities. The possibilities, yes, are crazy, but the realities are different. It doesn't happen often.
Yeah.
And if it does happen in your league, kick the guy out.
But what's your point of view for 2-for-1s, 3-for-2s, or people using quantity to trade? Do you think that's a valid?
It's all about how you. That's all cunning, scheming shit. Like I'm a big 2-for-1 guy, and trust me, every time I offer you 2-for-1, it's a bad deal. Like don't take it because I'm trying to will quantity on you. But having said that, what if you're -10 in a position? What if you're -9 in two positions? What if you, I don't know, something happened in your life at the time that you didn't check your team for 2 weeks and now you're -7, -8? The 2-for-1 might be feasible for you because you need to cover those games. But most of the time, 2-for-1's a bad deal. If somebody's offering you two guys for your one player, your one players are much better than those two guys. So, but that's a personal opinion. That's up to you.
If you're offering 2-for-1, might as well kunin mo na rin yung i-drop niyang player para hindi mo.
Because now I have to drop a player too. So shit, diba?
Sabay mo na. Sino ba gusto mong i-drop?
I do it.
Kasi usually that's where the gray area comes in. Like either 2-for-1 or players that have short-term value, like Gary Trent, let's say, and then you know that CJ McCollum's coming back soon. Like right now, he's like so hot. So somebody will try to trade him, and then other managers will say, but that's just for the meantime, the value is for the meantime. And the other manager would say, but I think it's sustain it. So I think that's where the gray area usually.
Well, I don't find it to be a gray area because that is your responsibility as an analyst. Okay, that is your responsibility. And again, we've seen historically bad trades even in the NBA at that professional level. Okay, so there's going to be moments like that, and it's going to trickle down into the fantasy world as well. That is your responsibility as an analyst to say, Gary Trent, oh yeah, sure, I need the 3-pointers, and McCollum's injured. But if you don't know the timetable and you accept that trade thinking Gary Trent is going to produce like this for the rest of the season, that's on you, man. You're stupid. Right. Yeah. Now, if you do that habitually because it's changing the landscape of the league dramatically, as a commissioner, I wouldn't invite the guy anymore. If he's historically such a bad manager, he's out. And the NBA does that as well. The NBA can force you to sell your fucking team if you're not doing your part, diba? Now, obviously, there are bad owners like Dolan or whatever who are historically bad, but if you're bad, they can kick you out of their league. It's a league. It's a private league. They kick you out if you don't follow.
In your league, Mo, is that the only reason you kick out teams, or is there other like etiquettes that they've failed to follow?
Yeah,
is there others?
So I've never kicked a team out. So I say that, but I've never really done it. I just don't send you the invite next year. Emails come out. Hindi ko na.
Ang galing na.
Paano pag nag-message? Hey, where's my invite?
Of course they're gonna message. So they message, where's my invite? Block. my fantasy league is more important than our friendship. Block that guy. It's don't measure ruthless.
pero for those, kasi I'm sure maraming leagues, we've been getting a lot of complaints from other managers as well, joining other leagues na no trades are being passed kasi nga everyone's just vetoing.
I hate that. I hate it.
I think you should leave your find another.
Find another league because it's a conflict of interest. Like it's essentially I'm managing your team, and if it's a money league, that's foul. It's just foul. It's really, really bad. You shouldn't be vetoing trades because you don't think it's fair. And I hate, again, I'm going to say, I said it earlier, trades are not meant to be fair. They cannot even be fair. Like it's not possible for a trade to be fair.
Because there's different perspectives to the trade.
Exactly. It's dependent on need, bias of the player. Like I trade for players that are on West Coast time because I'm on West Coast time. So I'll overpay for a West Coast player because it helps my watching enjoyment. I'll do that. I've done that 100 times. Like if you have a guy, let's say I have, I don't know, Julius Randle, he's on East Coast time. I'm not home yet from work. I'll fucking trade him for a West Coast player. No, of what I feel to be equal value.
Yeah.
It's never really equal. I need him because I want to watch basketball.
I mean, the reason for trading is not really something that's maybe fantasy related in terms of stat wise.
And I'm allowed to do that. I'm allowed to do that.
Kasi gusto ko lang tong player na to eh. Which happens a lot.
I've done where in the draft, first round, Steph or Giannis, say in past season. Well, they East Coast time, Steph. Just for that alone, I've done that countless times.
And I think very important then for leagues to really have a chat group wherein they can interact with fellow managers, even if they don't really know each other personally.
Absolutely.
Kasi parang, one, it's easier for the commissioner to announce anything that he needs to announce. And secondly, at least you could get to speak or talk to different managers.
It's more fun. It also
yun din. You get to know more people or meet new people, I guess. I mean,
for trash talking reasons, for just basketball knowledge.
Meron ba sa inyong ganun, trash talking?
No, not really. Well, not the veterans sometimes kind of bully the younger guys a little bit. It's not to a level where it's any need to jump in or anything like that. But we've never even had a fight where it lasted long. It's disagreements, but disagreements last one day. It's not much.
Yeah. But Mo, do you take it against the manager if you offer a trade and they don't respond? Like there's a problem with managers like that. Like let's say you message them and then they just don't respond to your messages.
They publicly shame you. Yun lang.
Okay, so you can complain to the commissioner about that.
Not really complain to the commissioner, complain to the league in a sense of a very fun pucha naman, hindi naman and then everybody will jump on you and it's it's a self-policing, hazing kind of environment.
Nilalangaw na yung offer ko, ano ba yan?
You say that and they're like, sino? Talaga, ganyan talaga yan. Then you're like, okay, I'm pressured to do
which
something.
makes it more fun, di ba?
Makes it way more.
Group chat.
It's bullying, but okay lang.
basta don't take it personally kasi baka some
locker
people,
room. It's locker room stuff.
Oh, so some people might take it personally. Ayun, guys, yun na yun. A lot of followers are asking for this type of discussion about trades, especially towards the end.
Can I throw in one major controversial topic?
Yeah,
I know we're running out of time. Okay, and I don't know how
we're good. Ikaw, baka hanapin ka ng misis mo.
Well, I am running out of time. My wife is. This is very dark, but I've thought about it because of COVID. What if one of the managers passes away? Have you ever had a league where one of the managers passes away? Because honestly, this is a legitimate question to ask. And I'm sure you have listeners right now who have experienced this, especially in this COVID time. What do you do as a league? This is a topic I've not experienced this. So this is fully for you guys to discuss and your listeners and whatever. If somebody dies, what's the game plan? First of all, have you had that yet?
No.
Okay. So what would
Thankfully,
you do?
no.
Yeah, what would you do? Right, yeah, knock on wood, thankfully no. But let's say it happens. What are you guys gonna do? Does the league shut down that year? Do you give everybody or do you put
lalo na if that person is that person is first or alam mo yun,
right.
top
Or
of
do
the
you
standings.
just set up their team for the best lineup available and then leave it, lock it, and that's it? Like, what's your game plan here?
I think well, depends on with the agreement siguro, pero at least as far as the team goes of that person, maybe just leave it as is na lang.
Yeah, set up the lineup and lock it.
Yeah.
For me, it depends.
Lock the lineup na lang.
Depends also on the kind of league. Like it's like a barkada league. I don't think you have it's like hard to go on with the league.
Taste. Oh, diba? Right.
Yeah, but if it's like a league, not a public league, but league like your acquaintances and not really friends, then I guess what Jeremy said is the proper way. It's not just about someone dying. What if they just become incapacitated? Like
right.
like something like that.
Something, some life-changing event, right?
Yeah.
No, I think that's a good answer. I think it's a really good answer. If we are friends, it might be a little bit foul to continue.
Yes.
Yeah, probably I thought na-envision, well, not the envision ko, pero naisip ko lang, if it's a league of friends and that happens, I think, lalo na if it's a money league, most likely the commissioners, the managers would agree to just donate or
Yeah.
give
Yeah,
out
that's a
the
really, really good point. Yeah, right.
Diba?
Donate to
Parang most
family.
likely ganun na lang yung mangyayari. Oh, let's just we'll still continue playing pero whatever the payment that the buy-in for this league, let's just donate it to the person.
Yeah, going to that question mo, like last year, what did you do? I mean, COVID stopped the
COVID.
season.
Oh well, the timing was right. COVID ended with 70% of the season already done, or
So-
maybe 80% of the season done. So we treated the way Yahoo treated it. We let Yahoo decide, and what Yahoo decided was the standings pre-bubble is the final standings, and that's what we had. Now, obviously, there are teams that didn't like that. Guys
Yeah.
on the bottom, like, what the hell, man? Give my money back. And that's why I said, hey, listen, we're gonna have Yahoo decide our fate. If Yahoo says, okay, everybody's season is reset, it's just a lost season, and that's fine. We'll just give everybody's money back. But no, they decided that the final standings would be the final standings of the last Rudy Gobert walking off the court. And that's how we treated it. I mean, it took a while though. It took us a few weeks to eventually come up with that plan, but that was ultimately the decision.
But did you do something like this year? Like, do you have a special agreement this year? Because that could happen.
Right. We flirted with it with an idea of if the season shut down early, like in the first week or the first 2 weeks, then maybe we would. But the world wasn't going there at the time with COVID, so it didn't materialize. And I think the NBA did an incredible job with its protocol. I mean, they did a great job in the bubble, but they've also done a really, really good job outside of the bubble this season. And I think, we're guaranteed the sport.
And it looks like it's the situation somehow is getting better, at least in the
absolutely
States, right?
Absolutely.
So with the vaccines.
I'm vaccinated. My wife's vaccinated. Like,
talaga?
Yeah. We got vaccinated a month ago. So I mean, it's been good.
Ay, baka mga 2 years pa yata tayo.
Yeah, you guys medyo rough. I mean, baka 2 years is an exaggeration, but I wouldn't be surprised if it took 1 year, honestly. And that's
yeah,
that's bad.
Most likely. Last two things. So last episode we had with you, we talked about a player that's been passed around. Who in your league has been passed around already?
Ooh, that's a good question. Let me hold on. I'm gonna have to go to the transactions because I want to get a good answer here.
Sino ba sa atin, Eric?
Passed around? Wala eh. Wala masyadong trade sa atin eh.
Or yung ad drops.
Drops ads.
Sino ba?
I'll throw out a couple while you're quickly of the Knicks. I think we've all owned quickly.
Yeah.
Yung mga rookies, no? Some of the rookies.
Malik Beasley.
What?
In our league,
So
drafted, dropped, added, dropped that. I think 4 teams own him already.
Oh,
and then after ma-suspend, drop ulit.
Oo, drop ulit.
Oh, that's surprising. Tristan Thompson has been one on our league.
Boston Centers, no? Teis, and Thompson. Si Time Lord. How's Time Lord doing there?
Time Lord's he's been rostered since day one, and he's been doing well. No, he's definitely
in some leagues kasi drop na rin yun si Time Lord from different.
I'm taking the Nerlens Noel mentality with Robert Williams. Kuzma is another one.
Kuzma.
Who else has been? Peyton Pritchard has been.
Mga rookies marami.
Yeah.
Quickly and mga yan.
Quickly is probably the number one answer for that. And then Lonnie Walker, just because again, the Spurs have had
start. Danny Green, yung mga ganyan. Danny Green.
Plus COVID. So yeah. Anyway, what's the question? So you're saying is 2 more?
And then last one, then yung Ben Simmons update natin. I remember we were talking about how many threes.
Oh my gosh. Okay, so
how many threes?
Hindi alam yun ng listeners because it was off the record already.
What was my answer to how many
10.
he's gonna?
You said 10.
Oh, that's a bad answer.
Si Eric 5. Ako 3. Baka parang on track si Eric 5.
Yeah, baka because he has 2.
Yes, 2 so far. So pwede pa ako 5 kasi half the season.
Yeah, I'm way off.
He doesn't take them a lot talaga eh. So
well, you never know. There's still 40 games left.
Hindi, with Philadelphia, the way they're playing right now, he has a role not to take them too much.
Yeah. No, darn it. I screwed that one up. Okay, yeah.
Okay lang. All right. So yun, guys, thanks Mo for joining us once again and for your insights on fantasy basketball. Maybe end of the season ulit tayo, kwentuhan ulit tayo about.
Yeah, man, I love being on your show. I think it's a really, really good show. So I enjoy it.
Thank you. We do daily. If you know.
That's awesome. Good, man. Good for you guys.
Mga 30 minutes lang a day.
No, I love it.
Kaya si Eric is in the office eh. Parang minsan takes calls ganyan. during the work,
I love it. That's garage band raw.
That's the hustle.
Yeah, I love it. Good for you. No, hell yeah. Especially when you're talking about sports, because sports is inherently competitive, and for you to go out there, work hard, and still do the show and do your life, I love it, dude. Keep going. You guys are awesome.
And we're trying to build the daily fantasy scene here also in the
You play daily fantasy?
I don't, because I live in Nevada where it's not allowed.
Okay.
It's a frustrating of mine because I want to play, but every time I try and I VPN all that, wala, every single time, sorry, can't do it.
Talaga.
Sa Nevada pa bawal?
Bawal dito. So sayang. I want to very badly, but
sayang.
I have, in a sense, like I've asked about my sibling. I said, "Oh, paying a credit card mo. I'm gonna do the daily fantasy." But they have to input the lineup because there's a geographical. It's a headache. So I'm like, never mind. But that's the only thing I'll do, because I play one fantasy league a year. Yeah. So the only exception I will make outside of that would be daily, and I can't, unfortunately.
Sayang. All right, guys.
Now, so that's it about the baseball season, man. I do other sports, man. Fantasy baseball. The draft's coming up in a couple of weeks. I know baseball's not a big deal for many Pinoys and stuff, but man, I am pumped up.
PBA. joke lang.
Is it MPBL or what? No. Is there a PBA fantasy? Is there a site?
Yeah, I think there was way back.
Yeah.
But there's just so little teams, so few teams na parang wala namang sense eh.
Maybe a daily would be better for PBA than a full season, right? Yeah. Anyway, okay.
So thanks Mo for joining, and of course that's another weekly episode of the Fantasy Benchwarmers. Again, like I said, abangan niyo yung daily fantasy quickies namin as always, and the written, nagsusulat rin niya si Eric on our Facebook group about the daily quickies. So, we'll see you again tomorrow. Bye, guys.
Yeah. Thanks, guys. Bye.